They don't want you to know this, but there's something about Sigma males that terrifies evil people. And no, it's not just their confidence or independence. It's deeper, darker, and far more powerful than they'd like to admit. Why do toxic, manipulative, and downright evil people fear the presence of a Sigma male? What makes them so dangerous to those who thrive on control, deceit, and weakness? Imagine this: a corporate office buzzing with politics and power game. The managers manipulate, the workers obey, and the system thrives on fear. Then he walks in, the lone wolf, the man who doesn't play along. He sees through the lies, refuses to be controlled, and operates on his own terms. Instantly, the room shifts. The manipulators feel uneasy. Why? Because they know they can't control him. That's the power of a Sigma male. Sigma males don't just exist, they disrupt, and that is exactly why evil people fear them. But what is it about Sigmas that sends chills down the spine of manipulators, narcissists, and power-hungry individuals? Stick around, because in this video, we're breaking down 6 shocking reasons why evil people fear Sigma males. Sigmas, if you've ever felt like people react strangely around you, or if toxic individuals seem to avoid you, you might just be more powerful than you think. So make sure you watch till the end and uncover the true force you hold. Number 1. Sigmas see through lies instantly. Psychologist Carl Jung once said, "People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul." This rings especially true when it comes to those who thrive on deception. Manipulators, liars, and hypocrites build their identities on illusions. But there's one type of person they can never fool: the Sigma male. A Sigma male possesses an almost supernatural ability to detect deception. How? It's a mix of high emotional intelligence, deep observation skills, and an intuitive understanding of human behavior. Unlike most people, who get caught up in words and appearances, Sigmas pay attention to what's unsaid. The nervous flicker of an eye, a forced laugh, an unnatural pause in speech. These micro-expressions last mere milliseconds, yet to a Sigma, they reveal volumes. Psychologists confirm that body language accounts for over 55% of communication, and Sigmas are masters at reading it. A slight hesitation in someone's voice, an inconsistent statement, or a contradiction between words and actions. These are glaring red flags to a Sigma male. They don't just listen. They analyze, decode, and uncover what's beneath the surface. The most unsettling part for manipulators: Sigma males don't need to call them out. A single piercing glance or a knowing smirk is enough to make a liar squirm. Deceivers sense that their facade is cracking, that their mask is slipping. It's not confrontation that terrifies them. It's the awareness that they've been seen for who they truly are. In a world where deception is the norm, Sigma males remain the rare few who see through the illusion. And for those who live by deceit, nothing is more terrifying than the gaze of a man who knows the truth. Number 2. Sigmas are immune to psychological manipulation. Toxic individuals are masterful at emotional manipulation. They use guilt as a weapon, twist reality to suit their narrative, and pressure others into submission through social tactics. The entire strategy hinges on one thing: control. But here's where things go terribly wrong for them when they encounter a Sigma male. Sigmas operate on a completely different wavelength. They are self-sufficient, independent thinkers who refuse to be swayed by cheap emotional tricks. Guilt tripping doesn't work. Gaslighting won't take the bait. Social pressure, irrelevant. A Sigma male's mindset is built on logic and self-awareness, making him an immovable force against manipulation. A toxic person tries to guilt trip a Sigma into bending to their will. Maybe they say, "After everything I've done for you, this is how you treat me." A classic emotional hook designed to elicit compliance. But instead of reacting, the Sigma simply stares. No anger, no frustration, just a calm, unreadable gaze. The silence stretches. The manipulator starts to squirm. The moment they realize their usual tactics are ineffective, why does this infuriate them? Because emotional control is their strongest weapon. And when that fails, they're left with nothing. Sigmas expose the hollowness of manipulation by refusing to engage, and that drives toxic people insane. This is why Sigmas are a manipulator's worst nightmare. They don't fight back with words. They dismantle control with indifference. And in a world where manipulation is the currency of the weak, True power belongs to those who remain emotionally untouchable. Number 3. Sigmas are lone wolves. They can't be isolated. Toxic people rely on isolation as a weapon because it's a key strategy in control. By cutting their victims off from friends, family, and supportive influences, they create an environment where the victim feels trapped, dependent, and desperate for approval. This tactic is incredibly effective against people who fear loneliness. But here's where Sigma males break the cycle. Because they don't fear solitude, they embrace it. A Sigma male isn't just okay with being alone, he thrives in it. While most people seek external validation, Sigmas find strength in their independence. They don't need a crowd to feel important, nor do they crave constant reassurance. This self-sufficiency makes them nearly impossible to manipulate through isolation. You can't trap someone who walks alone by choice. Toxic individuals quickly realize that their most effective weapon is useless against a Sigma. They try to make Sigmas feel abandoned, but instead, they watch them become even more focused, productive, and powerful. The Sigma male doesn't view solitude as punishment. It's a playground for self-improvement, deep thinking, and strategic planning. This is why toxic people fear Sigmas. Without control, they lose their power, and without power, they're exposed for what they truly are, weak and insecure. A Sigma male's ability to stand alone isn't just a personality trait. It's a shield against manipulation, a defense against emotional traps, and ultimately, a sign of unshakable strength. Number 4, Sigmas think for themselves. They don't follow the crowd. Evil doesn't operate in isolation. It thrives in the shadows of groupthink. It needs a crowd that obeys without question, follows without hesitation, and suppresses independent thought. History has shown us this time and time again, whether in oppressive regimes, corrupt institutions, or cult-like social movements. The more people conform, the easier they are to manipulate. But Sigmas, they are a force that disrupts the cycle. They are the thinkers, the skeptics, the ones who refuse to accept things at face value. While the masses are swept away by propaganda, social pressures, or collective fear, a Sigma steps back, observes, and dissects the situation with cold logic and sharp intuition. If a group is walking toward disaster, whether metaphorically or literally, the Sigma doesn't hesitate to turn the other way. They don't need approval. They don't seek validation. They move based on reason, not the emotional hysteria of the crowd. And that kind of self-possession, it terrifies those who rely on blind followers. Evil knows that one free thinker is a dangerous thing, because independent thought is contagious. When one person dares to question, others may start to wake up. And that's the last thing manipulators and deceivers want. That's why history's greatest revolutionaries, truth seekers, and disruptors were often lone wolves, people who refuse to be swallowed by the mob mentality. Sigmas don't just walk alone. They stand as a reminder that real power doesn't come from numbers. It comes from the courage to think for yourself. Number 5. Sigmas are unpredictable. You can't pin them down. Evil people thrive on control. Their entire strategy hinges on predictability, knowing how their target will react, what insecurities they can exploit, and which emotional triggers will yield the response they desire. They need patterns, routines, and emotional consistency to manipulate effectively. But here's where the Sigma male throws a wrench into their plans. Sigmas are the ultimate wild cards. They don't operate on emotion, making them impervious to guilt-tripping, gaslighting, or emotional blackmail. You can try to push their buttons, but there's no guarantee they'll even acknowledge you, let alone react the way you expect. This is deeply unsettling for manipulators who thrive on control through emotional influence. And let's talk about trends. Most people follow them, whether in fashion, opinions, or even behavior. Trends create predictability, which makes people easier to control. But a Sigma, they don't follow the herd. They create their own path, making them impossible to anticipate or mold. One day, they're in a high-powered corporate job, blending in. Next, they've disappeared into the wilderness, quietly building an empire away from prying eyes. They can reinvent themselves overnight, adapt without warning, and never feel bound by societal expectations. To an evil manipulator, this is a nightmare. They can't pin a Sigma down. They can't predict their next move. They can't control what they don't understand. And that's why Sigmas remain untouchable. 6. Sigmas are completely self-sufficient. Evil thrives on control. It feeds on dominance, manipulation, and the ability to bend others to its will. But what happens when it encounters something or someone it simply cannot control? That's where the Sigma male comes in. Sigmas are an anomaly in a world obsessed with hierarchy. They don't submit to authority, nor do they seek to rule over others. They walk their own path, unmoved by societal expectations or peer pressure. And that terrifies those who crave power. See, most people are driven by external validation. They need approval from their peers, their bosses, or social media. Evil exploits this weakness using fear, shame, and rewards to control them. But Sigmas, they don't play that game. Their confidence comes from within. Their decisions aren't swayed by trends, guilt, or coercion. This makes them unpredictable, and unpredictability is the ultimate nightmare for those who seek control. The Sigma male's independence also dismantles manipulation tactics. Narcissists, bullies, and corrupt figures thrive on dependency. They want people who need them, emotionally, financially, or socially. But a Sigma male, he doesn't need anyone. His success isn't tied to favors, handouts, or popularity. He builds his own empire on his terms. At the end of the day, evil fears losing its grip. And Sigmas are a constant reminder that true power doesn't come from control. It comes from self-mastery. That's why they are feared. That's why they are a threat. Because no matter what, a Sigma male remains free. Sigmas, your power is real. The fact that evil people fear you is proof that you are built differently. You are the antidote to manipulation, deception, and control. And the world needs more men like you. If you've made it this far, you're already ahead of the game. But don't stop here. Hit that like button, subscribe, and join this community of unstoppable Sigma males. Because the world may fear you, but that's only because they know they can't control you. Having